cameras going. Not only was Christopher Epps sued in federal court, along with him was Bran Huffman. Now, as I name these names, these are people that hold a great deal of culpability in criminal stalking, civil and constitutional rights violations that are too many to go through in a couple of hour video here. I'm not going to do one for 2 hours. But this is Bran Huffman, and he runs the Chickasaw County Correctional Facility there in the county seat in Chickasaw County, Mississippi, in Houston, which is connected to some igloo-shaped sheriff's department. Blake East was then the chief security officer. Subsequently, he's no longer there and is working for, I believe, Smith & Wesson. And Jimmy Simmons, which is a retired sheriff, and now he and his wife are the kingpin methamphetamine dealers in this part of the state. That's kind of allowed. During that lawsuit, I had a break-in my house, and a lot of documents were taken and evidence taken by the perpetrator that I want to capitalize on, and then I'm going to give you the genealogy of this whole organized clan. So I'm entitled this video, the MF. There's always an MF in the details. And this MF is Michael Fowler. That's his initials. He's a coroner, and I think some type of secret agent, drug agent, and a dog whisperer. Lives in a house trailer on Davis Lake Road full of huge dogs, and kind of a nasty place. And this is a person with obviously is a sneaky, a very corrupt criminal, diabolical criminal. It's pathetic, a pathetic excuse for humanity when it comes to having no respect and total disregard for constitutional rights, total disregard for the law. He interprets the law as he wants to, and so he is guilty, red-handed, caught red-handed, and he somehow thinks that he has escaped culpability in this. And so my message to Michael Fowler and his rest of his stooges, nothing could be further from the truth. I think they thought that this would just go away, or that I wouldn't be able to articulate and substantiate their involvement. What they need to understand is eyewitnesses, people that were involved during that particular time in this criminal coup to finally, as Michael Fowler said, it's just a matter of time. We're going to get him, and we're going to put him away for life. How did all that work out for you, Fowler? Okay. So we're here today in 2020 talking about obstruction of justice and obviously a miscarriage of justice of preventing American citizens from due process, preventing American citizens from having their day in court. I don't know what district judge of the Northern District of Mississippi, how he's going to feel about how his proceedings were mocked and how they were circumvented, but he will very well have all of this stuff will be forthcoming. Now, so Fowler, working with, and there's a list of people that work that were involved in this, and I'm not going to go through all the names. I'm just going to get the key players, some of the key players, to give the world an idea of how this holistic approach to policing works. how organized community stalking, criminal stalking, works. Everybody playing their part. By doing this, a lot of people are involved. A lot of people have got crap on their shoes, and so they're assured that that with the shock and awe, and that with everybody participating, there's no way that this monster could ever be slayed. And so with that, they have no problems with breaking the law, lying under oath, obstructing justice, and torturing another human being, setting them up, smear tactics, whatever it takes to destroy this individual and to make it appear as if it was self-destruction. Now, so we have Michael Fowler, and he worked hand in hand with Sheriff James Myers. James Myers came in, was elected after Jimmy Simmons. Now, you've heard me talk about these two individuals here a couple of years ago, where they worked hand in hand to cover up so-called murder, suicide, or attempted self-inflicted wounds from Fred Stevens, which is a bunch of hogwash. And they ran interference on this deal. They're involved in it right smack dab in the middle. Yes, that's the sheriff of Chickasaw County and Michael Fowler, secret. He's the MF in this deal. Now, they constructed a plan on how they would remove me from the scene. Now, why did they want me removed from the scene? Well, first of all, this lawsuit against Brant Huffman, Jimmy East, Blake East, Christopher Epps, and Jimmy Simmons, the sheriff. Okay, when you sue the sheriff and the Department of Mississippi Department of Corrections Commissioner and all those things, I'm telling you, they have an axe to grind. So Michael Fowler working with Jimmy Simmons, and then a couple of deputy sheriffs, Jimmy Rape, which Jimmy Rape was subsequently, he was some kind of investigation or charges from that came from the state, as it refers to child exploitation and rape and so forth and so on. It's well known and documented, and there are people and there are witnesses of underage boys and girls having sex in lieu of going to jail for supposedly they were going to get in trouble for drugs. This has been a long-running deal. He goes to church down there at Faith Outreach, where they run this Celebrate Recovery program, which is ran by Danny Owens, which is a convicted child rapist, which is the brother of Stephanie Owens Jameson. And this all ties together. So along with that, at that same church, you have Keith Roberts. He is the chief deputy now at Chickasaw County. He worked hand in hand. They worked holistically. This is everybody doing their part, because we have got Stephanie Owens is now aware that the knowledge that that I know that she has participated in things to try to circumvent my I was on federal probation at that time, and so she forged a relationship with Valerie Peters. Valerie Peters was subsequently sued in federal court. This Valerie Peters, also Pontotoc County Sheriff's Department Leo Mask, the Mississippi and the Deputy Patterson at Pontotoc County, Valerie Peters, United States Probation Office, and the United States Department of Justice, Attorney General Loretta Lynch. All of these people, now they sent their henchmen to force me to withdraw from this particular lawsuit. On the first one, as it involved the sheriff and Mississippi Department of Corrections Commissioner, they had already broken into my house. I did file a motion with the court, and they were working with Mitchell, McNutt, and Sam's in Tupelo, Mississippi. They've got several offices throughout the state. It's a large law firm, and they ran interference for this criminal, holistic little song and dance here. They were aware of this, that this was going on, that they were knew the evidence that I had that I was going to present in court before I had it, because they had already broken into my house. I made the judge aware of this, the court aware of this. But obviously, at this point, I didn't realize that there were so many people involved that were hell-bent on my destruction. And I'm hell-bent on exposing them. So there we have it. That being hell-bent is, sword cuts two different ways. The only difference is I'm on the right side of the law. I am the victim. They are the criminals. This is what we expose in criminal stalking. We call this criminal stalking 101. But today's message, folks, is there's always an MF behind every bush when it comes to stalking. There's someone there. You don't hear their name. That doesn't come up and all that. They're the ones that try to run secret interference, to be the kind of the orchestrator of this deal. And in this scenario, it's Michael Fowler. And he thinks somehow he has sidestepped this deal. So Stephanie Owens Jameson, having feared that it might get out, the fact that she was having relationships with an underage boy and still with him, and was a chronic and avid, and still is, methamphetamine user, and teaching elementary school in Holcomb, Mississippi. She subsequently was fired from that job. Now she teaches elementary school in Nelton, Mississippi. Apparently, people that have children and the Nelton elementary school system and the Lee County School Board are not concerned about a child rapist and an illegal, illicit drug user. It seemed to me like if I had children in that school, I'd be concerned with that. But these things, again, when you have this holistic group of people in law enforcement, oh, this guy's crazy, he's the real criminal and all that, they know that they all have skeletons, and ugly, nasty, dirty skeletons in their closets. So we're going to talk about those. So she worked, Stephanie Owens Jameson. Now, the Astagrind is I was working with her son, trying to help him in his music career. They didn't like that. I didn't know until years later that there were more sinister and deep, very evil secrets within that family as it comes to sexual abuse of children and so forth and so on. Had I known that I had walked into a pit of vipers, chances are we could have taken another direction. But it was too late to turn back. And so working with a known child molester, Jermaine Gaddings, he is a district manager of Dollar General, Shannon, Nettleton, Pontotoc, that area. I have on good, again, this is on good authority, and can get sworn statements and testimony about Gaddings and Stephanie Owens Jameson, Jimmy Rape, and Keith Roberts, so forth, conspiring together to develop a scheme in which to have me put in prison, hopefully get a life sentence. So they propped up this a shoplifting scheme with the Jameson Owens son at Dollar General, and supposedly he went to jail because of that, and then reached out to me for his help. When I contacted the sheriff's department, he was being held without bond for shoplifting. I then made a trip to Dollar General and confronted Jermaine Gaddings. And he was speaking about this individual as he was a piece of garbage, which I knew that was all theater. Okay, I knew that he secretly, they had a long-standing, and he had abused and sexual relations with this individual, and I know of 4 other individuals that have also picked up on the side of the road and transported in a vehicle provided by Dollar General, and he provided drugs and alcohol and juiced these boys up, and while him and another employee and live-in creepy Daryl Cooper at his house in Nelton, Mississippi. Folks, this is when we talk about child and sex trafficking and drug trafficking and human trafficking being real. I'm putting you on it right now, okay? I'm putting you on the facts now. That's the reason I'm not the most popular guy around here, because telling it like it is and speaking the truth is completely frowned on. We're going to keep doing it. So they concocted this shoplifting deal, and that the Justice Court Judge Judy Posey, which is personal friends to a man that I believe that is completely smack dab in the middle of a double murder, and that's Eddie Roberts and his wife Deborah Roberts, are personal friends with Judy Posey, and Judy Posey had Jimmy Rape and Anshay Randall and some of these people, which is a what do they call them? Anyway, some kind of I don't know what they call them, but anyway, another badge in Oklahoma, Mississippi. It's absolutely despicable, folks. And there's no such thing as just being held without a bond on a shoplifting charge. I filed a writ of habeas corpus. Well, that pissed them off. Well, it was already set in motion after almost a week in this jail, and I was told by the chief jailer there that I wasn't allowed to see this person at the jail. Now, this is a man that is over the age of 18. Has been charged as an adult, but for some reason they're calling the shots. And because Steffi Owens James said, "Don't let him come down," so I knew that that something was amiss here, more than amiss. I had already had a 2-day trial against the creeps at Chickasaw County Correctional Facility and the corruption there, and had to deal with the fact they were driving me from one home to another, forcing me out of into unemployment, and it was unbelievable at the lengths that these people went through to destroy me. So we finally had a court date, and everyone was there, and they decided, and this was, again, another attorney, Chancery Court Judge Kenny Burns. I've known Kenny Burns for years. Kenny Burns was privy to my criminal case before it ever went to trial. He advised me and so forth. We have a serious conflict of interest here. He knew full and well what the deal was, but Kenny Burns cast his lot. So when everybody's in the courtroom, he makes a comment to the defendant that you feel good, you feel better, yeah. And he said, "Well, you look better." And and I knew that. So how in the hell would Kenny Burns, a Chancery Court judge, have any idea what this person looked like before they went to jail, and a week later after being in jail for a week? What was he implying? That he was strung out on drugs or what have you? Maybe the mother that you might have made that remark to. But I know that that the Chancery Court judge is not going to visit someone that is charged with shoplifting in the city and sent to the county jail. That none of that makes sense. Okay, that's not within his realm of duties. And so but the fix was they were going to commit him to a state institution, a mental institution. This was all a ploy. This was in Meridian, Mississippi. I forgot what the name was. It was State Hospital in Meridian, Mississippi. Now, this was all part of the show, folks. And so it essentially made the writ of habeas corpus moot, because now he's was remanded to his mother until they got a bed and so forth. About a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, he finally was transferred. They picked him up in handcuffs and so forth and took him down there, and then he was in communication with me. He wasn't there but maybe a couple of weeks, and supposedly got into a fight and needed a ride. Nobody would come get him. It just so happened that Meridian was just a few miles right on the line of the district of where, if you're on federal probation, if you leave that area without permission, uh, you have to have permission. This was on a Friday evening. I went down and I gave him a ride because he said, I can't stay here. They're kicking me out because he got into a fight and all this was baloney. Okay. Monday morning, I get a call from Valerie Peters, which is another creepy person that works for the Department of U.S. Department of Probation, and she was the subject matter of this, subsequently the subject matter of this lawsuit. They are commissioned to work with individuals in reentry and to help them get reestablished for success. Nothing can be further from that. That's not what they're really doing. It is absolutely nothing could be further from the truth. Their job is to ensure that that all individuals released from federal or state prison, and they work with the states, they all work together. It's a holistic deal to ensure that our prisons are overflowed and flooded with repeat offenders. Recidivism is at an all-time high. They make it impossible for those that have paid their debt to society, whether they, and I want you to know, folks, not everybody, and I had that post on there, in your face is your friend. Not everybody that is going to your church is a Christian, and let me tell you, and not everybody in prison is a criminal. You can believe that. They want to control this deal and to be able to use people that have convictions as guinea pigs. There's not enough of them for this program because there's too many, hundreds of millions of dollars at stake here. And so other people in society that have not even so much as a speeding ticket, they've fallen victim. People that have whistleblowers, the list is long and hard. Now, so Judy Posey is another, again, the Justice Court judge. She's culpable in this and played along with the deal. And even her nephew came to an untimely death. And who knows what they ruled that as. A lot of people have died in that little pocket, that little area where all those people live. Michael Fowler, Jameson Owens, Eddie Roberts, Deborah Roberts, Judy Posey. They all live. You can throw a rock and hit any of them's house. Okay, they're all in that deal. How many deaths and murders have taken place in that area? Only God knows. Only God knows. That's an epicenter for human and drug and sex trafficking, period. It's evil at its core. No matter how many times they ride the church pew or what you're seeing in broad daylight, these people have a dual life. Kenny Burns cast his lot with that, which makes him a worthless, coward, despot, just as bad as MF, Michael Fowler. Make sure I don't miss the people that I really want to. So Valerie Peters, that following Monday, called me and asked about the individual I went and picked up. Have you seen him? Yeah. I mean, that was weird. What's that got to do? You know what I'm saying? What's that got to do with the person I want to know who I'm talking to or whatever? And I said, well, I went and picked him up at, no. So I thought he was in an institution or something like that. She's keeping tabs on the general populace here. I said, yeah, he's not now. I went and picked him up and kicked him out. She already knew this. It's Friday evening, Monday morning, she already knew this. She was in on the deal. Knew that what the deal was going to be before I ever got the call. I need a ride because I've been kicked out. You follow me? Instead of this probation officer coming to me and saying, look, there's a group of people that are trying to do you in. Now, I had a second probation officer that gave me the lowdown on the lowdown, okay? I've got information, very incriminating information and facts as it pertains to what I'm telling you on the involvement of the Department of Justice, the FBI, the Secret Service, and all these other people that are involved in community policing and criminal stalking, systematically violating civil and constitutional rights. Now, and so the boy that's still living with Stephanie Owens Jameson, Mylan Carter, and so they're all in this pocket and have been used and are continuing to facilitate crimes in this criminal stalking program. Okay, they had no problems with voyeuristic placing cameras and listening devices and tracking devices, tampering with my vehicle, destroying 2 vehicles, subsequently causing me to lose everything I had once again, being returned to prison for a year, only to come back to the same demons that were sitting there waiting and determined. And they made another stab at it. They're still taking stabs at trying to prop up crimes and to set me up, which is not going to work. And I'll do other videos on and name some of the other police departments and give you the stories on some of the ridiculous criminal antics of local and state police on how they work together at destroying a targeted victim. Folks, this is not how our justice system is supposed to work. But I have to tell you that here in America, that's the way it is working for many. And it's happening in broad daylight. The individuals that I have just mentioned have blood on their hands of lives, obstruction of justice, witness and evidence tampering, civil and constitutional rights violations, too many to list. These people that I've just mentioned, I can substantiate with sworn statements and testimony about their involvement and their conspiracy of them conspiring to orchestrate this theater in our judicial system to destroy a person, and that person is me. This is the reason that they refuse to listen to evidence as it pertains to murders and so forth that lie outside of anything that has to do with me. But the fact that I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, oh my God. You see what a tangle web they have weaved. You can't expect these criminals cannot expect to continue forever without their chickens coming home to roost. This country is based on a set of laws. We're based on law and order, and we have a thing called due process, and they have systematically because they've chosen, they all have their own personal reasons, whether it's the rapist, the murderer, the molester. I've named them all in there. Their convictions stand. The evidence stands with what I'm saying. That means that Kenny Burns, Keith Robertson, Jimmy Rape, Judy Posey, Michael Fowler, Valerie Peters, Leo Mask, Deputy Patterson, Jermaine Sicko Gathings, Darryl Cooper, and that brings in Dollar General and some of these independent companies that employ. They are rubber stamping criminal and despicable crimes against humanity. These people, yes. So this is not some type of conspiracy. This is the unadulterated truth, ladies and gentlemen. I can back it with facts all day long. And these are the things that I'll be presenting to the federal judges that were involved. There are 2 different federal judges involved in these things. And let's see where that takes us. Let's see if how these federal judges believe that it's funny and that it's clever and ingenious how these people in law enforcement have managed to obstruct justice and to play and manipulate the system that, my friend, has a whole gamut of safeguards to keep it from being manipulated, but by the very people that have been entrusted to prevent manipulation of our justice system are the very people manipulating the justice system. That's how they feel like they have their element of deniability. And that, my friend, is their element of culpability. And so we're going to continue to name names and continue to talk about the despicable things that they're doing, regardless of whether you like me or not. We still have a school teacher that's got issues. People have children. We have someone's parents that have been murdered. There have been other deaths. I've mentioned those online there. Need to pay close attention to that, folks, because I'm only one person. And believe me, I'm busier than a one-legged man ass-kicking contest with what they keep me going with as to keep up with what else they're involved with. But I can promise you that it's worse, the worst onion peeling contest you'll ever have when you start going into these corrupt people that judges, attorneys, law enforcement, and private citizens, as they work together to control people that they don't like and to destroy people that they disagree with. If you dare, or a whistleblower, you dare call one on the carpet and take them to court, they'll make you pay for it. I'm an example, a living example of someone that has suffered and continues to suffer the retribution from these people that say, oh, we're going to show you, we're going to show you. But they all have skeletons in their closet, folks, let me tell you. Skeletons that have put many of them in prison, that should put many of them in prison for the rest of their lives. Should put them in the electric chair or in the gas chamber. That's really where they belong. That's where they belong. They're a disgrace to humanity. They're a disgrace to the Constitution, to our flag. And let me tell you, folks, as a man of God, God's not laughing. He doesn't think it's funny. I'm still here today because God saw fit, not because all of these people I've mentioned did everything within their power to destroy this man right here. Well, you failed. You know why you failed? Because God says you fail. Okay? God says you fail. I want to make real clear. Now, they hate that. Well, I'm a member of such and such church. Well, your membership down there at First Baptist Church in Oklahoma, let me tell you what, will not get you through those pearly gates. I promise you. God will never condone one of his coming against one of his own. I've said it before and I'll say it again. God will never condone one of his coming against one of his own. God does not work in lies, betrayal, secrecy, breaking the law, illegal and corrupt behavior. He does not operate in that realm. That is demonic at its core. That is satanic on its face. That's what it is. It's what it is. It doesn't matter if you think you're doing right versus being held responsible. You know it's wrong. And if you were a man or woman of God, we wouldn't be having this conversation about those individuals. That's called fake Christians. Going to fake churches, hearing a fake sermon about a fake God, because the God that I serve and the one that died on that cross of Calvary is the only thing, is the only one, and the only way. Folks, until next time, you can send me the information about you as a victim and the people, and I'll be more than glad to help and assist anybody. I'm going to keep exposing them, and I encourage you as a victim to keep your head up. The past is behind us. There's a new day coming. There's a new day, and it's a bright day, and it's a good day, because we're going to expose, and the light is the one, there's only one light, and that's the truth. Until next time, God bless you.